OBIEE workshop session number 2, and today we are going to discuss about the rest of the concepts like the variables in the OBIEE repository, how to create them and how to make use of them, and what are the different situations to work with the OBIEE repository variables. And then the next concept is the security thing, how the object level and data level securities can be defined in the repository. These things we are going to discuss as part of repository development, and then we can move on to the presentation area.
Sure.
Okay, the variables. What is the variable? Is the variable is nothing but a keyword which can able to hold a value temporarily. That means a some particular period of time, or the value can be changing dynamically. So, and the value can be hold for that particular whole session. The session is nothing but every login to the application is a session, and for the session the value will be the value will be initialized to the variable, and it will be constant for that session, or that might be changing dynamically. So these are the different areas, different types of variables we can see. In OBIEE we have totally two different types of repository variables we can see. Under the manage menu we have a variables. Click on the variables. Here we have two different types of variables. One is repository variables and other one is session variables. So these repository variables can able to start executing, or gets initialized the values at the time server is started. When the BA server component is started, by default this repository session variables gets started. I mean, repository variables gets initialized values. How they can able to get initialized values? There is an initialization block. This initialization block can return a value, and that value can be initialized to the dynamic repository variables. Okay, we will see how it is work, and we have two different types of variables under the repository again. Totally in the repository, OBIEE repository, we have two different repository and session variables. Under the repository, we have again two different types of variables. One is static and other one is dynamic. Okay, what is static? The static is nothing but the static is a variable, repository variable, and it holds a value constantly. The value which is initialized to this static variable is constant. And if you want to change the value of the static repository variable, you have to log into the OBIEE repository in the online mode, or in the online mode, and you have to change the value of the static repository variable until and unless it is constant. So let us create a static repository variable. Simply right click on this area and new repository variable. Name of the repository variable is repository variable underscore. That can be anything. Training rb underscore training. And see here, we do not have any initialization blocks to be initialized to this static repository variable. When we select it as dynamic, then this initialization block has to be initialized. Why do we initialize this initialization block? Is the initialization block can have a SQL statement that can be return a value. The result set of the SQL statement in the initialization block returns a value. The value can be initialized to this repository variable if it is dynamic. If it is static, no need to have any initialization block. We have a default initializer. Here we can able to write some value that can be alphanumeric, alphabetic, or that can be character type, string type, or that can be numeric type. So depending on the returning value, depending on the initialized value to this variable, the data type of the variable can be defined. So here you can able to type the value, or you can able to use this expression builder. So here you can write a constant value, OBIEE training. So it is string type, so that I just put it in the single quotes. Character types, string types can be put it in the, date types can be put it in the single quotes. Number types are not required to put them in under the single quotes. So the repository variable created and initialized a value. Click OK. And let us test this repository variable. What is the value it is returning? So to call these repository variables, these are the repository variables, right? So to call these repository variables, we have a function called value of the name of the repository variable. So whatever the value initialized, the value will be displayed over there. Check in the changes, save the repository. Let us test this repository variable in the enterprise, in the analytics application. How to call. When we call, what is the value it is displaying? We can test here. So let us take a new analysis. So in this new analysis, I'm just adding one dummy column. That column can be anything. I'm just adding it as a dummy column. So here we have a column formula. In this column formula, I removed the dummy column name, and here I can able to add variables from this menu. This is presentation services or presentation analytics expression builder. In this expression builder, we have variables option. So add variable using of type, what type of the variable it is, repository variable. Select the repository variable and enter the name of the variable, that is rv underscore training. Click OK. So it is added to the repository variable name, gets added into the value of function. So you can directly use this syntax, or you can just use this variable wizard to enter the repository variable name. So automatically tool can give you the code as value of rv underscore training. So to call the variables, the function is value of. Okay, when I try to see the results, it will display whatever the value we have inside in the repository. See, OBIEE training. This is the static repository variable, and its value, if you want to change it, we have to log into the OBIEE repository and then we have to change it here. So the static repository variables will not have any initialization blocks. The value is initialized default, the default initializer, and dynamic repository variables. The dynamic repository variables, you can see the icons here. This is having question mark and this is also having question mark, but it is having a refresh icon. This refresh icon is nothing but these dynamic repository variables can be refreshed depending on the schedule you defined. The value for the dynamic repository variable can be refreshed in a particular time interval. So that is dynamic repository variable values can be changing. For example, current time. Currently it is 6:27 a.m. That can be changed after 1 minute. That should be changed after 1 minute. So current time will be changing dynamically, and current month will change, current date, current year, current quarter, everything will be changing on a time specific, as well as maximum of sales for today, maximum of sales for tomorrow, minimum of sales, group functions, average of sales. So these are the different values which can able to changing on a daily basis on dynamically. So the dynamic behavior values, or these are the different areas we can use these dynamic repository variables to populate the values for current time, current date, current week, quarter, current month, current year, as well as uh, sum of sales, average of sales. So to populate these values, we can be able to use the dynamic repository variables. If we have any requirement, in that requirement, if you have any values or column values are changing dynamically, to capture those details, we can use the dynamic repository variables. And to create a dynamic repository variable, simply right click in the work area and say new repository variable, and the repository variable name is rv underscore current time, current underscore time. So it is a dynamic repository variable, so that it is having initialization block initialized. So we do not have any initialization blocks in our repository, and if you have any initialization blocks, you can see them under this drop down. So let us create new initialization block. So this is the new initialization block wizard. So here we can able to name the initialization block name of the initialization block init underscore rv underscore, for to which variable you are creating initialization block is current underscore time, init block for this variable. So that's how I define the naming convention. Disabled, if you want to disable this initialization block, select this checkbox. So once this checkbox is selected, this initialization block is not used for any purpose. This initialization block is not in the execution sequence. So you can able to disable the initialization blocks. And the other one is schedule. So under this schedule, we can see the start on, when this initialization block can can start the execution. And refresh interval, for every 1 hour, for every 1 hour, the initialization block will be refreshed. Initialization block refreshing is nothing but it have a SQL statement. That SQL statement execution will be refreshed. That means for every one hour, the SQL statement can be refreshed on against the database, and whatever the latest value it has in the database, that will be captured and initialized back to the repository variable. Okay, for every 1 hour, or for every 1 day, or for every 1 minute, you can able to define the intervals, refresh intervals. Refreshing is interval is nothing but for every 1 minute, the SQL statement which you write here, it will be refreshed, and the result set will be sent to initialize it to the dynamic repository variable. Okay, let us create a SQL statement here. We can able to create the SQL statement by clicking on this edit data source. Okay, here we are able to write the sample select statement. Select this date from GUI. You can also able to write the SQL statements against the dual tables. So we need to select this connection pool. We need to select the physical connection pool to execute this SQL statement. Test it. This SQL statement will execute through this connection pool against the database, and this is the SQL result set. This is the value can be initialized to the variable rv underscore current underscore time, and this initialization block will be refreshing for every 1 minute. For every 1 minute, this is initialization block will be refreshed. That means every 1 minute, the SQL will be refreshed and the value will be initialized to this RV underscore current underscore time. And execution precedence, edit data target. So if you want to initialize multiple variables here, the single initialization block, if you want to execute multiple variables, you can also able to do that, like sysdate comma max of sales, maximum of sales or minimum of sales from particular date, particular table. So if you have multiple variables here, each variable can be assigned to the order of the select class columns. The column one here is this date. This will be assigned to the rv underscore current underscore time. If you have, for example, if you assume you have another variable rv underscore max of sales, then you have the second column as maximum of sales. So the maximum of sales can be assigned to the second variable. And execution precedence is nothing but before executing this initialization block SQL statement. Do you want to execute any other initialization block? Then let's add that initialization block here. If you have more than one initialization blocks in your physical repository variables, then uh, then you can able to add the other initialization block. Then what will happen is, first this initialization block will be executes and then this initialization block executes. The following initialization block will execute before this one. Before this one, this whatever the initialization block you have added, that will be executed. That is execution precedence. And discussion about this initialization block, and text the initialization block which is returning some value and click OK. And you can just add some default value. This is one sample, a default value, and click OK. The initialization block is dynamically refreshing for every 1 minute. Let me add this initialization block. Before that, let us reload the server metadata as we did these changes in the online mode. I'm going to add the repository variable, and the variable name is rv underscore current underscore time. Click OK. So when we click on OK and try to click on the results, what will happen is the value of function will call the value initialized to this rv underscore current underscore time variable. What is the value it is initialized? The current timestamp of the system. See, the timestamp here is 6:35:20 seconds. So, and one more thing you have is this dynamic repository variable is dynamically changing or dynamically refreshing its value for every 1 minute. So now it is 6:35, and after 1 minute, if I refresh it, if I refresh this analysis, this repository variable will display the value as 6:36. See, 6:36, and after 1 minute, if I refresh it, it will display the value as 6:37. So that is how the repository dynamic repository variables are very useful variables in as part of the development, which where you want to implement the dynamic behavior. So if you have any values, or if you want to use any current time or current date, so these type of values, if you want to capture and keep it in one of the variables, you can go with this dynamic repository variables. And either static repository variable or dynamic repository variable can able to hold only one value at a time. Dynamic repository variable or static repository variable can hold only one value at a time. Only one value can hold. So if I refresh it, you can see the value to 637. So for every 1 minute it is automatically refreshing because we have defined the schedule in the initialization block of the repository variable. So initialization blocks can be seen under the initialization blocks. When you click on the initialization block, you can see the initialization block here, and you can see that this is having refresh interval for every 1 minute. And the next one is session variables. The session variables are again two type. One is system and the other one is non-system. System and non-system. These are the two different variables we have in the session variables. Session variables are again two types. One is system and non-system. System is nothing but a predefined variables. Select the system variable, right click here, you can see these are all predefined variables. System defined variables, defined predefined by Oracle. User GUID group. User variable will return the logged in username. The logged in username. Which user you are logged in, the name of the username will be displayed. Group user GUID, the GUID of the user. What are the groups this user is belongs to? The groups will be displayed. What are the roles this user belongs to? And what are the role GUIDs and permissions, proxies, tenant GUID, web groups. These are all not required. Display name of the logged in user, log level. What is the log level defined for this logged in user? Time zone of the logged in user. These are the predefined system variables and you can able to call them. For example, I will call the user group and log levels. Okay, let us call this the variables here. Let me add some more dummy columns. Dummy column can be, the column can be anything, and you just change the formula of the column. And I'm going to add the variable of type session, and it is user. And he belongs to how many groups? So you can able to add a session of saying that group. It's case sensitive. Session variables are case sensitive. Session, and the other one is log level. So if you can see here, when you select the type of the variable, here is session type, you can see value of function, and it is calling what type of the variable? Enqueue underscore session variable, that is enqueue underscore session. That means it will add a keyword called enqueue underscore session dot the variable name. That means the value of function is explicitly saying that this variable is of type enqueue underscore session. So that I just used the enqueue underscore session as a calling place. It is enqueue underscore session dot variable name. To call the session variables, that is the syntax. Click OK. Enqueue underscore session dot log level. Okay, we do not have any value initialized to this log level. Okay, click on the results. Click on the results. See, this username of the user variable returning the logged in username, and the group variable returning the which groups this user is belongs to. It belongs to BA administrators group, authenticated users group, consumers group, and BA authors group, because he is an administrator user. So these session variables can able to create, these are predefined variables. You can able to call them anywhere in the either in the repository or in the analytics application. You can able to call this dynamic repository variables or static variables or session variables of type system and non-system. The whole all these variables can able to use either in the repository, anywhere in the repository, in the expressions or in the table names. You can able to make use of them, and you can able to use them in the presentation reports as well. These are predefined variables, and you can also able to modify those values, uh, default values by creating by initializing the new values to these system variables. You can able to add new values, and you can able to modify this default values. And non-system variables. Non-system variables can also looks like dynamic repository variable, but the dynamic repository variable can start its execution when the server is started, whereas session variables can start its execution when the new session started. Dynamic repository variables or repository variables can start its execution when the server started, whereas session variables can start its execution when the session started. Session is nothing but every login is a session. Okay, non-session session variables, new repository variable underscore region. And this is non-session session variable has a initialization block to be initialized. So the value for this region variable will be returned from the initialization block. Let us create a new initialization block because we do not have any initialization block, and this is the session variable initialization block window. Here we have the name of the initialization block. And disabled, if you want to disable this initialization block execution, you can able to disable it. And edit data source, you can write the select statement, select region country underscore region from countries. So I have added the select country underscore region column and its data from the countries table. Simple select statement, and I can able to browse the connection pool here. See, I'm not able to select the connection pool. Why? Because is session variables are required a dedicated connection pool. The session variables are required a dedicated connection pool. That's why we can able to create the multiple connection pools over here. Right click, new object, new connection pool. So this connection pool is why we are creating this connection pool to execute the initialization block SQL statement. So that's why I just name it as init block connection pool. And it's everything will be same, the details will be same as original commissioning code. So new initialization block is created. Save this repository. Repository gets saved. Let's go to the manage variables. Here we have non-system type. Let me create a new session variable here because we have cancelled this previous development. And repository variable underscore region. New initialization block. Init underscore rv underscore region. So we are creating an initialization block for the repository variable underscore region. Sorry, session variable, right? So we'll make it as session variable. And here we can write the SQL statement. That is select country underscore region from countries. And now we can able to use the initialization block. Previously we do not have any initialization block, so we can able to add multiple initialization blocks to the single physical database. Click select test. So you are getting the one value as Americas. Click OK and click OK. Click OK. You can just write some XYZ as one of the default value. Click OK. See here we have created the non-system session variable as RV region. You can just name it as SV region. Session variable underscore region, and initialization block as init SV region. In this initialization block, what we write? We have write a SQL. SQL is returning country region name. Name of the country region. From the table, which table? Countries table. You can see the countries table over here. So let us test this variable. Here I will call the non-system session variable which we created recently. Session type session variable underscore region. Click OK. Click OK. Reload the server metadata. Of type session variable or sv underscore region. Click OK. So now when we try to see the results, it will display the value as Americas. So it is populating the whatever the value in that column we have. So if we may ask a question here, the region column is having multiple values, but it is displaying returning only one value. If you want to get all the values of the region column, what do we have to do is, that means the session variables is storing only one value at this moment. But the difference between the dynamic repository variable and the session variable is dynamic repository variables can able to hold only one value at a time, but this non-system session variables can able to hold more than one value by using the concept called row-wise initialization. Let us see the row-wise initialization, how it is work. So initialization block is here. So let us click on this initialization block. So to use the row-wise initialization concept, what we have to do is edit the data source In the select statement, the first column should be the repository variable name. Test it. You can see here, click OK. That's it. First column is repository variable name and the column name from table. Edit data target. Here you have a concept called row-wise initialization. Select this checkbox. Click OK. OK. See, this variable target is row-wise initialized. Now you can test it. See, it is getting Americas, Europe, Asia, Oceania, Africa, Middle East, Asia. So this means every value of this country region column is having initialization on a row wise, on a row by row, the value of country region column initialized to the variable name. This is row wise initialization. Click OK. So once a variable value is row wise initialized, a variable is initialized in a row wise manner, then we should not use it in the criteria tab. In the selected column section, we are not able to use it. For example, you can see here, this is our variable, right? SV underscore region. Let me reload server metadata. So the difference between the dynamic and static repository variables, main interview question here. Repository variables are session variables. Repository variables can start execution when the server started. Session variables can start the execution when the session started. Repository variables can able to hold one value at a time. Session variables can able to hold either one value or more than one value, multiple values. That means now you can see when I try to use this here, it will return an error message. Row-wise initialization. This variable is defined as row-wise initialization. It is restricted to use with equality comparisons. That means you should not use it in the criteria tab. Delete. For that, what I am going to do is, on which column I created variable is country region, right? So country region, amount sold. So in the filter section, I can able to use it. Add a filter. What is the value you are going to add? You are going to add the value from the session variable. Session variable name is sv underscore region. Click OK. This is how I just did it. So what I am filtering, whatever the values we have in the session variable region column, region variable, non-system session variable sv underscore region. What is the values it is having? Only those values can be displayed from the country region. We're applying it as a filter results. Okay, ODBC returned an error message. So the fact tables compare the correlations in countries, country region. Delete and we see the results now. Because of due to some joins, we just get this error. And you can see here, now it is returning all the countries region names, and it is filtering on the basis of what it has been filtering on the NQ session SV region. That is, this session variable, non-system session variable is having some set of values, and all those values are passed to this filter. In the filter, when you apply, what will happen in the SQL statement is where country region is equals to or is in all the values returned from this non-system session variable. That means non-system session variable can able to return more than one value by using this row-wise initialization. That is about the variables in the repository. Now I'm moving on to the next concept called object level and data level security. The security is two parts: authentication and authorization. Authentication is nothing but validating the username and password, whereas authorization is what? Authorization is nothing but authentication can be takes place only at one time at a time, only one time. That is, at the time you are logging into the application, that is authentication. Authentication can takes place whenever once you log into the application, the authorization has to be takes place, because what are the objects you have access? just defining some privileges, or you're just defining some access restrictions on the data part or on the tables or columns or subject areas part. So this is called authorization. This authorization is nothing but which objects you have authority to access. That is defining authorization using this object level security or data level security. So using this object level security, first let us discuss. Okay, object level security is not, we can just expand these tables here. So object level security is nothing but you have 100 users and one of the user try to log into the application. Once he logged in, he should not see the customers table. He should not see the customers table. That is the requirement. What you can do? Customer table is on object. What type of object? It is a presentation layer objects. And the security can be defined to the presentation table, presentation layer objects only. The object level security can be defined to the presentation layer objects only. That is presentation subject area or presentation table or presentation column, or if you have any presentation hierarchies on those also we are able to define the security as well as the presentation levels as well. So you are able to define the object level security. That means you are going to put a restriction on accessing of any of these objects, presentation subject area or presentation table, presentation column or presentation hierarchy levels. That's how we can able to define is I have some set of users already defined in my application. Those users are, you can see under the identity action set online user filter as star. So these are all the list of the users I have in my application. That is WebLogic user, default administrator user, BA system user, default system user, and user 1 and user 2. So user 1 and user 2 are I have created manually into this application. So now I am going to put a restriction on user 1 to not to access the whole subject area. User 1 should not access the whole subject area. For that, what I am going to do is right click on the presentation subject area and go to the, okay, what for this what you can do is go to the, we can do it in two ways. One is right click on the subject area and properties, check out permissions, general tab permissions, and you can able to define the security here. Set online user filter. You can able to filter the users on the online mode. So you have user 1 as well. So you can say no access. Click OK. Check out. Click OK. So now the user one, when the user one is logged into the application, analytics application, he is not able to see the subject area. Save the changes, and the same setting you can also able to do it in the manage identity user one properties, check out permissions, object permissions. You can see sales history has no access. This user 1 object permissions sales history, this is just we did in the presentation layer. The same thing is reflected in the user 1 properties under the permissions, under the object permissions. Is not having no access, is not having access to the subject area. Like that you can able to add other conditions, fact sales table or some other subject area. You can able to put a restriction on the user one. You should not able to see the subject area for now. Click OK. Okay, now let us reload the server metadata. Once the server metadata gets reloaded, I will log in with the user one. Okay, let us log in with the user 1. Sign out. Click here, and user 1, his password is admin123. Go to new menu, analysis. See, is not able to see the subject area. But whereas WebLogic user or user 2, when you log in, you are able to see the subject area. You put a restriction in the presentation on the object level. So this object subject area is one of the object, and you put a restriction on that. When I log in with user 2 now, you can see the subject area. See, so this is how the object level security can be defined for all the users. So not only in the subject area, but also under the presentation tables. If you want to put a restriction to the subject area, one of the table, you can do the same thing. Right click on the table, go to properties, general tab, permissions. So set filter the user, US, user 1 or user 2 as well. So you can able to select. We have user 2, no access. Select no access. That's it. So user 2 not able to see the dim channels table in his development. When he logged in, he is able to see the subject area and the rest of the tables, but he is not able to see the dim channels table. The same way, we can also put a restriction under the column names as well. Properties, general tab, permissions, no access. That's it. So this is how we can able to define the object level security. For example, if I log in with the if you this is how object level security can be defined. And now I'm going to move on to the data level security. How to define the data level security? Data level security is nothing but you have some data, 100 records you have, and in the 100 records you want to put a restriction to the one of the user, and basically by passing one condition you are able to put a restriction to how to restrict the records. On which basis we can able to restrict the records in the SQL statement is by writing a condition in the vary class. The same thing for the one of the user, you can able to put a condition. So depending on the condition only, the data can be populated for that particular customer, particular user. So for example, in the SQL statement you have it is returning by default, it is returning 100 records. And in the 100 records, by applying when you apply a condition saying that calendar underscore date is equals to November 15th, then what it will happen, it will only fetch the records of November 15th. Let us assume that November 15th we have only 10 records, so it will returning only 10 records only from the SQL statement. The same way, if you have 100 records in one of the report, and if you want to put a restriction to the one of the user, you can just add a condition. So whatever the condition you have passed to the user, depend by fulfilling that condition only, it will return the records. For example, let me create one of the data level security setting. Identity. So define the data level security. First you need to go to the identity, and here we have user 1 and user 2, right? So go to the user 2 properties, and you can able to put a restriction. Go to the permissions. So under the object permissions, you are defining the object level security. Under the data filters, you are able to define the data level security. That means you are filtering some records. So object permissions can define the object level security, and the data permissions can define the data level security on all subject areas. Add a condition. Let us say dim times, and on which table you are putting a condition is dim times. On what condition? Condition is what? Data filter is what? Edit expression builder, dim times table, calendar year is equals to or is in 1998, comma 2000. We have given only 2 years. What the 2 years is 1998 and 2000 year sales only to be populated for the user 2. User 2 data filter. What is the filter we have? Calendar year is in 1998 and 2000. Click OK, click OK, click OK. Save. Let us reload the server metadata. Okay, to reload the server metadata, what we have to do is we have to log in with the WebLogic user only. Reload server metadata. Server metadata gets reloaded and now login with the user 2, because we define data level security under the user 2. When the user 2 try to create an analysis using the column as calendar year, not only calendar year, whatever the data is trying to see all the time, what are the query is executing. For every query there will be a condition for this user 2, that is calendar year is equal to or is in 1998 and 1992. For every query that can be executed by the user 2, you can see the data restriction for calendar year 1998 and 2000 only. He can able to see. See, he is able to see only the data for 1998 and 2000. That is what the condition we have given in the data level security. So define the data level security or object level security. The navigation is go to manage, identity, user properties, permissions, object permissions, and data filters. Under the object permissions, you are able to define the permissions on the presentation subject area, presentation table, presentation column. Under the data level security, you can able to define under the data filters tab. There you can able to put a condition on the user. That can be a calendar year is equals to is in 1998 or 1999, or you can able to put some region name. If the user belongs to a particular region, like if the user belongs to China region, then what you can do, country name is equals to China. That's why we can able to put a restriction on the users to not to access the other data. So this is data level security. Now I'm moving on to the analytics area. So in this analytics area, whatever we can do is the whole presentation, the whole repository. This is how we can able to develop the repository in 3 different layers. The rest of the concepts we have discussed. Up to now we have completed the repository training. Now I'm going to move on to the presentation analytics training. So in this presentation analytics area, whatever we have here is, let me log in with the WebLogic user. So here, this is the home page of analytics application. So in this analytics application, this is the front end application. This is visible to the end users. End users can able to access this URL, and they can able to log into the application with their credentials. Once they log into the application, they are able to browse the reports, filters, dashboard prompts, conditions, and agents, action links, scorecards, KPIs, and KPI watch list. These are the different types of objects we are able to create in this analytics application. These are different types of objects we can able to create in the analytics application, and we can able to align these objects in the dashboard for the customer perspective, customer presentation perspective. So for example, you can see here new menu. Here we can see the analysis and interactive reporting. Under this we have analysis, dashboard, filter, dashboard prompt and conditions. These are all the different catalog objects. Every object can able to create and save it as a separate object in the catalog. And publisher reporting, that is BA publisher reporting, that is separate tool. Actually it is BA publisher is separate tool, not in the OBIEE, that is integrated to the OBIEE. That is XML publisher, actually that is XML publisher, and that is integrated with the OBIEE. And actionable intelligence, under this we can create the agents to deliver the reports to the end users through the emails, pagers, mobile devices, and handheld devices. Anything we can able to deliver the email, deliver the report or dashboard to the end user's email address. Another performance management, what we can see the scorecards, key performance indicators. That means we can able to compare the two values, two measure columns, two measure values. You can compare and you can able to display the differences and percentage variance and the growth rate or decrease rate. So these are the different objects we can able to create using this analytics application, and you can able to place them under the dashboards. What is dashboard? Dashboard is for example, you have a book. That book can have some set of pages. Each page has its own content. The same thing, book can have some set of pages, and each page has its own content. The same way, the dashboard is also looks like a book, and it has some set of pages, and each page has its own content. The content can be reports. The reports are nothing but the reports are populated in the different view representation. That is a table view, that can be a table view or pivot table view or graph view or chart view, or that can be any type of view. We can have some set of views in the OBIEE 11G, and we can see them as well. Okay, let us create a new analysis first. Creating analysis or a report is the same thing. Analysis or report are same. Sales history. So here you can able to select the columns, selected columns by selecting some set of columns on the subject areas pane, selected columns pane, filters pane, and catalog pane. So in the catalog pane, we are able to select only saved filters. If you have any filters saved already, you can able to add them here. Saved filters are nothing but what? Saved filters are nothing but, for example, in your whole development of the reports or dashboards, if you are using the same set of filters all the time, most of the time, for example, you have 100 reports, and among the 100 reports, the 50 reports are using the same filter. Then what you can do, instead of applying the filters one after the other again and again, you just save all this set of filters into one filter set, and you can able to pull that filter set. Like calendar year is equal to 1999, country name is equals to China, or region name is equals to Asia Pacific. So these are the conditions. Let's assume that our order ID is equal to this one, organization ID is equal to this one. So these are the conditions if you want to put into one set, filter set, that is called filter set, and the filter set can be added to the filter section from this catalog pane. And subject areas pane, here you can see the subject area, selected subject area and its tables, presentation tables and presentation columns, and we can able to pull the column from here. For example, product category, double click on the column or drag and drop it. Another one is fact sales amount sold, double click on this amount sold or drag and drop it. So it is automatically dragged and dropped into this selected column section. So once it is dragged and dropped it, you can see that there is a button here. When you place the button, you can see the Options, sorting option. The data can be sorted. For the product category, by default, for the varchar type columns, the default data can be displayed in the order of alphabetical order. For the number columns, display the data in the ascending order. Okay, when you place your mouse, if you want to change, by default it is ascending order or alphabetical order. If you want to change it, you can able to change the sorting, sort ascending or sort descending. Let us say sort descending. And if you want to apply the sorting on the amount sold as well, sort ascending. So now the sort can be applied only on one column. But if you want to apply it on the multiple columns, what you can do is go to the sort option and you can able to apply it on, go to the sort option, select the add descending sort. You need to use the add option, add sort option to add sorting on multiple columns. What is sorting? You just sort the data either in the alphabetical order or in the ascending or descending orders. Want to clear the sorting? Clear sort on first particular column or clears all sorts on all columns. Edit formula. The formula for this particular column can be edited. So from which table or from which column it is populating. And if you want to apply any additional formulas, you can able to use these operators. You can use using these operators or using these filters, using these functions, you can able to apply the custom formulas. That you can also able to use of variables as well. For example, if you want to concatenate with one of the variable, click OK. And see here the product category concatenated with the product category column concatenated with the dynamic response variable, that is OBIEE training with the value. Click on results. Let me clear the cache here. Okay, to clear the OBIEE cache, presentation services cache or VA services component caches, go to the administration tab, manage sessions, close all cursors. This will clear the cache for presentation services component. Administration, issue SQL. Type a command called call sa purge all cache. So this function can be able to call the sa purge all cache function. It will call the sa purge all cache function. It will purge the cache of BA server component. So this is how we can able to clear the caches. You can see that every product category is concatenated with the variable. So this is how we can able to apply the different formulas in the edit column formula. And column properties. These column properties can give you the style properties. How that style of the column to be displayed, font sizes and font colors, sizes, font styles, effects, if you have any underlines or strike through values, cell color, cell formatting, style of the cell, style of the border of the cell, and column format. The column can be formatted. The column heading, folder heading, column heading or column heading formatting, and value suppression. Value suppression is nothing but, for example, if you have a one value, for example, you have 1998, it is displaying the data in a quarterly basis. For instead of displaying the three values for every quarter, 3 years for every quarter, it displays only 1 year. But if you want to repeat it, it will repeat it for all the rows. So if you, for example, if you have 10 rows, in the 10 rows are having the same value. Instead of displaying 10 times, it will display only for one time. But if you want to, by using the suppress option, but if you want to display it for 10 times, you need to select the repeat option. By default, it is suppress. And data format, the format of the data, how would you like to display this data? This is a varchar type column, right? So it will display in the plain text, the plain text with don't break spaces. In your data, if any value is having any spaces, it will not break the spaces, it will also display the spaces. Another formatting is for the number type column. This is measure column, right? So for this, data format is different: number, currency, percentages. You can see here the currency can display the all the currencies available in this application. Currency codes. And other one is conditional formatting. The conditional formatting is nothing but you are able to apply conditions. Depending on the condition is true, then the value will be formatted. So the conditional formatting, how it will work is, go to the administration amount sold column properties, add a condition here, add a condition on the product category. When the product category value is electronics, click OK. Then apply this formatting. The formatting of the font color as blue. You can see that for the electronics product category, you can see the amount sold value formatted with the blue color font. So this is conditional formatting. By applying a condition to the column, you are able to format its data. The data can be formatted. That is conditional formatting. And other options we have in this column properties is interaction. The interaction is nothing but default is drill. Default is drill is nothing but, for example, if you use any hierarchical columns like calendar year, the column is part of the hierarchy. Let me add a calendar year results. By default, you can see the hyperlinks on the calendar year column. You can see the hyperlink, but you do not see the hyperlinks on the product category. You can see the hyperlinks here. When you click on these hyperlinks, by default, it will go to the next level of the hierarchy. You can able to drill down to the next level of hierarchy. For example, if I remove the hyperlinks by going to the column properties and interaction tab, column heading interaction as none and value interaction as none. Click OK. Now you can see the interaction is disabled. They are not able to interact. You can see normal columns, no hyperlinks. So the default drill is nothing but, so in the if it is a hierarchical column, by default it can able to drill down to the next level. That is default drill feature. The column heading and value. So you have the column heading as well as a hyperlink. Action links as well. You can also able to define the action links. Action link is nothing but it will pop up a action link message. So when you click on the link, it will go to the some other report, some other dashboard. Depending on the navigation you have defined in the action link, it will go to the other area. That means for this column heading, you can see that when you click on the column heading, it will go to the other target depending on the definition you have defined in the action link. We will work on the action links as well. Another one is value interaction. Value interaction is also having action links. This is also same thing. When you click on the value, it will go to the some other report or some other dashboard or some other web page or some other web service. We can because we can able to define the different types of action links. This is new action link wizard. So these are the actions navigating to BI content. The BI content is nothing but this in this OBIEE presentation services analytics application. So you can able to navigate to the a report or dashboard page or a dashboard, or you're able to navigate to a external web page, external web service, external Java method. You want to invoke any browser script, or even you want to invoke any HTTP request. You can able to use these different options depending on your requirement. Usually we can use the navigate to BI content. Select this navigate to BI content. So which page you want to go? Yearly sales dashboard report folder, the dashboards folder. I would like to go to the sample sales folder, sample sales dashboard. Click OK. Click OK. And what is the link text? Sample sales dashboard. Click OK. Click OK. And results now. So now you can see column heading is not having any interaction because I defined it as none. But value interaction is defined. That is action link. When I click on the column, it is see when I click on the value, one of the value, it is populating the action link menu. Click on the sample sales. Now it will go to the dashboard, sample sales dashboard. Oh, this is the sample sales dashboard. So this is how we can able to define the interaction using the action links. And other one is master detail events. We will discuss about this master detail events. Under the interaction we have master detail events as well. So we will discuss about this one. That is about the column properties, and the other one is filter. By selecting this filter option, we can able to apply the filters. So that is uh, that means you are able to define a values here. When the calendar is equals to or is in, you are able to add the multiple values. Usually we will get the drop down as well for the values. Another one is delete. You can able to delete this column from the criteria. So this is the different areas we have in the column properties in the selected column section. And once the columns are selected into this selected column section, let me take new analysis. I will select some set of columns here. Just a product category, and I'm going to add a filter for this column. Filter. You can see the values under the drop down. Product category is equals to or is in. You can select the different operators here. Greater than, less than, not equal, not null, contains, begins, ends, like, is prompted. We will discuss about these prompted, how it will work. And value as product category is equals to or is in hardware. Click OK. So only it will display the hardware related product categories. You can able to edit this filter again, or you're able to copy this filter and you're able to paste this filter again. Once it is pasted, you can able to delete it, or you can just copy and paste. You can able to define the condition as well. Product category is equals to or is in hardware, and product category is equals to or is in the electronics. You can see AND operation, electronics and hardware. Only the product categories in the hardware or in the electronics only it will fetch. You can click on this and you can make it as OR condition. Click on it and condition. So this is group filters group. So this way we can able to work with the filters as well. And we have the other option in this criteria tab, that is combining with multiple requests. We will discuss about that. For now, I'm going to add some set of columns and moving on to the results tab. Results. So here it is displaying the, by default when you display when you click on some set of columns in the criteria, and by default when you move on to the results tab, it is displaying the default views as title and table view. Title view and table view. This is the table view and this is the title view. So when you edit the title view, we can see that we can put some title. The title is nothing but what? By default now display saved name. So this report can be saved after some time. So whatever the name it has, the same name will be displayed it as a title. That is this option. Logo of the analysis. If you want to put any logo as images, you can just call the logos. If you want to have any subtitles, you can able to use them. And started time, end time. For example, title of the analysis I would like to display it as sample. Sample analysis. And the logo I can able to call the logo. The logos can be called using the fmap. The fmap is a predefined URL to call the images. Fmap colon images slash, there is a some set of files here, images files in the png format or jpg format. We can see the path here, the images path. Images are available under the installation directory BA11G, Oracle BI1, BI Foundation, web, app, res, s_blap images, and here the images here. So this is the default path it will be able to use, and here we have some set of images, right? And you can able to call them here. For example, this one, this is a jpeg image. So copy this name of the image, Ctrl V, dot jpg, See, it will display the, it will call the image here. The fmap colon images slash report underscore target actual dot jpg. So image gets be called here, and subtitle, if you want to have any subtitles, xyz, let us say, this is the subtitle. And start time, if you want to display start time, display time, time run, or time display date as well, or display date and time. And if you want to give any help URL, you can able to call the URL here. And the help also you can able to use the fmap. There you can able to put some HTML files by writing the help text, images slash, we do not have any HTMLs at this moment, I'm just using this image as well. See, you have see the help icon, done. We are able to get the title view here. When you click on the help icon, it will display the image. So this is title view properties, and we have table view as well. Click on the table view. So this table view has, every view can be able to display for its own purpose. So title view is displaying which purpose: title, image, and the title name, subtitles, and if any time defined when this report is executing, or when you are running this report, so you can put the time run and help icon. What is the information this report is displaying? You can able to use the help icon as well. And the table view is also having, tables are nothing but column names and rows. Columns will have a set of rows, that is values. So in this table view also you can able to edit it. So every view has its own layout. So in this layout you can see the alignment of the columns, how the columns are aligned here. Columns are aligned in different manner. So I'm going to add another column, let us say calendar year. Okay, this calendar I am putting it in the table prompts section, table prompts area. When I drag and drop it, just drag and drop the columns into the corresponding layout. Just drag and drop it here. So when I place the calendar year column under the table prompts, what you can see, the calendar column is displaying the its value in a prompt manner, and you can see the data displaying for the selection of the calendar year values. The data in the table view is refreshing depending on the selection of the table prompt. This is table prompt, and you can also able to see the sections. Just simply drag and drop it here. You can see every value of the calendar year column. You can see a section, a table view. 1999 section, 1999 section, 2000 section, the same way 2001 section. And table view is having the columns and measures. So the columns and measure columns can be added in this section. And here we have a option to define the totals. Define the totals. Select it, and after it will display the grand total value for the table view for every section. So you can able to add it here as well. So this is the layout for the table, and one more option in the layout is excluded. You can able to add the columns to the excluded section, then those will not be part of the analysis. So totally in the table layout, what are the areas we have is table prompts. When you add a column to the table prompts area, What it will displaying? It is displaying a prompt under the top of the table. Sections. Every value of the sections column is every value of the calendar year displaying it as a table view. Multiple table views for every value of the calendar year column. And columns and measures column is displaying it as, depending on alignment, you display the data in the table view. That is about table view properties, and the same way we can also able to define the properties for the graph view as well. So if you want to add any view into the same compound layout, this is the compound layout, and you can also able to create multiple compound layouts by using these options. Create compound layout, it will create a new compound layout. Create duplicate compound layout, it will duplicate the same compound layout. Delete the compound layout and rename the compound layout. These are the title view and table view. Here you can see the list of the views available in your analysis. Currently two views are available here, title view and table view. Even though you delete the view from the compound layout, the view will be available in the table view. So the title and add it and align it. That's it. Even though you delete the view from the compound layout, the view is available under the view section. And if you want to add any additional view, simply go to the new view section, graph, or any view, you can just add it here, or you can just add it from the new menu here as well. Graph, bar graph. A bar graph of type vertical bar graph. So it's populate the bar graph here. Simply select this bar graph and edit it. Okay. This page is not responding. Let me refresh it. Okay, let me add the new analysis again. Calendar year, root category, amount sold, results. By default, you are able to get the title view and table view. Now I'm removing the table view because we discussed about this layout. Now I'm going to add the other view as pivot table. Okay, this is your table. So here you can see the data displaying in a row manner as well as in column manner. The rows values can be displayed as columns, and columns can be displayed as rows. You can see the product category displaying it as a row. You can see in this layout rows, dim product category displaying as a rows manner, and we have columns manner. In which what are the columns you want to display? You display the dim times values, that is calendar year column values displayed as a column calendar year column values, that is 1998, 2000, 2001 and 1999 values to be displayed as columns. And where you want to display, under the measure labels or below the measure labels, upper the measure labels, when you drag and drop below the measure labels. And the measure columns are what? Fact sales amounts. The rest of the layout properties will be same. The table view is having rows and measures in one section, but whereas here rows is separate section, columns is separate section, measures is separate section. And one more property here, additionally, with the comparing to the table and pivot table, graph property. You can able to display the pivot table results into the graph format as well. The graph can be bar graph, a vertical bar graph, or horizontal bar graph, any type. Depending on the selection here, it will be refreshing. That is pivot table. The differences between the table and pivot table, there is interview question on this. Table view can display the data in a columns and rows manner, whereas in the pivot table, the pivot table displays the data in a columns as rows as columns. And you can able to display additional differences. Table view cannot be displayed as a graph view. Within the table view, you are not able to display graph view, but whereas pivot table view can display its results in the graph view as well. These are the two differences. And the next view is graph view. Let us see the graph view. Add graph, bar graph of type vertical. So this is the bar graph we have. So this bar graph, what is this graph? Bar graph is having is layout. As I told you, every view has its own layout, graph prompts, graph sections. So here we have sections. Calendar year can be added into the sections. I'm adding this calendar year column into the sections. So you can see every value of the calendar year column, you can see a bar graph. 1998, one bar graph. 1999, one bar graph. 2001 bar graph. 2001, one bar graph. Here you can have an option called display as slider. See, you are able to get the slider over here. Play it. So every value of the calendar year column you can see the in the slider bar. So depending on the dragging and dropping and clickings, you can able to move the slider marker. And as part of the slider marker position, the calendar value filter will be applied and the view can be refreshed with this corresponding values. So that is graph view, and you can able to display the graph views in multiple different ways. One is bar graphs and vertical and horizontal as well, and stacked vertical. There is another option, other bar can be called stacked vertical. That means if you have more than one measure columns, for example, if I add the quantity sold as well, you can see two measure columns can be displayed in single bar. Single bar can populate the two measure columns, that is stacked vertical. Quantity sold value here. This is quantity sold value and this is amount sold value. So you can see two measure columns can be populated in a single bar, that is stacked vertical. And line bars. So displayed in a line format. The layout will be same. Area bars. Layouts will be same for all the graphs. And pie graph. So pie charts is displaying for how many product categories we have is 5 product categories. So you can see the 5 slices in the pie graph. Slice 1, slice 2, slice 3, slice 4, slice 5. 5 slices. For two major columns. We have two major columns so that we have two pies. You can see the layout. Layout will be different for this one. Slice size. Depending on the size, what is the size of the slice? So you can able to select. And pies, how many pies you want to display? The pies can be displayed for four calendar years. We need to get the, so how many pies we have, how many values we have in the calendar year, that many of pies can be created. 1999 one pie, 1999 2000 one pie, 2001 one pie. So totally 4 pies for 4 years and 5 slices. Because of in the slices section, you what you have added product category. For example, if you do the reverse thing, see, totally we have 5 product categories, but how many slices we have? 4 slices. Slice 1 for amount sold, calendar year we have 4 years, 4 years, so that 4 slices. Product category we have 5 product categories, so that 5 pie graphs. Line bar graph. So you are able to display the data in lines and bars. And these are the different types of views which we not use all the time. Mostly we can able to use this. You can just play around these views. You can just the layout will be same for all the views. And the next one is master detail event. Master detail event. For this master detail event, I would like to define a graph, a bar graph, a vertical bar graph, where I can see the calendar year added into the sections. Done. So now we have two views, table view, add it. Another one is graph view, add it. Align the graph view to the next to the table view. Okay. Now table view and graph view are adjacent. So now what is the requirement is we need to implement the master detail linking or master detail events. How to define this master detail events is we have master report, and let us assume this is the detail report. For example, you have yearly sales information in the table view, and here you can able to populate the quarterly sales information. So this is detail view. So master view and detail view. So using this master detail event linking, you can able to pass the master channel name to the detail channel name. How it is useful is how it will work is, go to the criteria tab. Here we have product category and amount sold, right? So I'm going to click on the calendar year column properties, interaction. We have master detail event. Send master detail event. Event name is, just assume that ABC. Just give any name. Click OK. Go to the results tab. So here the ABC can be passed to the graph detail table, master view, detail view. So when I click on the value in the master view, the corresponding value related data can be refreshed in the detail view. That is the requirement. How it will refresh is, you need to call that, you need to accept that view channel name here. So in the general property, when edit the table graph view, go to the properties. Here you can see the listen to master detail events. Here pass the ABC. You are sending the master detail event from that column, and this table is this view is listening. When you click on a value in this particular calendar year, this view is listening. How it is listens is, when you click on the 1998, you can see slider is moving to the 1998. When I click on the 2001, automatically slider moving to the 2001, because this calendar year column is having a master detail event defined. That event is listening by the detail view. When you handle any action in the calendar year column, that action is listening by the graph view. On 1999, graph is listening. So master report, detail report will have the detail view has in the same report. These two are two different views assigned in single analysis. So the action link, how it is working, the action is happening on the master detail linking. The event of the master event view is passing to the listening view, that is graph view. Every time, every time you can have the master view as table view and detail view as graph view. And the graph view need to have the slider to be selected. Then only this master link will be, master detail event will be work. So you are able to raise the master event in the column properties of the calendar year column, and the same thing will be listening by the graph view in its graph properties. That is master detail event. And now I'm moving on to the other views called column selector view and view selector view. Let us say column selector view. So this column selector view, when you edit it, so here you can see the column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4 as calendar year, product category, quantity sold and amount sold. So you can able to select any of the column as column selector. Let us say calendar year. Now you can able to select the label. Select column. So label can be displayed over here. And the calendar year will have a drop down, and you can able to add multiple columns to this drop down. Let us say customer gender, and every column will be added into the country name drop down, channel class. Done. Now what I will do, I will simply add the table view as well. See here, when I display the select column calendar year, it will display the data for calendar year. Select column customer gender, it will display the data for customer gender. That means the position of the column which you selected as a column selector, it will replace it with the selected column in the column selector. The data can be replaced, the data can be analyzed as part of the selection of the column in the column selector. Country name, to display the data for country name wise product category sales. Channel class. So in the first position of the column, in the column selector, we have selected as a column selector. That's why it is refreshing. its values. The other one is view selector. Edit this view selector. Edit. Caption. Select view. Caption position left or above or right. Currently it is left. Table view, pivot table view, graph view. So you can able to select the views available in your analysis into the drop down. Into this drop down, you are able to add the different views. So depending on the drop down selection of the views, the data can be displayed. For example, you can see table view, pivot table, and pivot table to graph. So depending on the drop down selection of the view, it should display the view of the particular analysis. Here select view, table view, pivot table view, and then graph view. That's it. These are the different types of views. We have additional views as well. You can just simply, these are the very simple views. You can just play around with them. And important views are here like graph, table, and pivot table only. The important is, and these are the new views: best visualization and trellis view. The trellis views will have the list of the release view can be displayed in a table format, but within the table it will display the data as well as in the graph. Within the table it will display the data as graph. Within the table, the trellis view, which is new in the 11.117 version, can be able to display the data in a table view. Table view will have the graphs as well, electronics graph representation. So these are the different views we have, and the next concept we are moving on to here is prompts. So this prompt section is going to show you creating the prompts, how to create the prompts, and how to call them in the how to create the prompts. Prompt is nothing but what? Prompt is nothing but a user input. How he is able to pass the user input? You can able to pass the user input by selecting the value in the drop down, or by selecting the values, multiple values in the drop down, or by selecting the radio buttons or check boxes, a text box. There are different types of user input types. So depending on the selection of the user input, your user input at the time of creating a prompt, the prompt can be created. So let us create a new prompt here. Prompt is nothing but a user selection. So we have column prompt here. Select the column prompt. More columns. Calendar year. So these are the prompt window. Here we have prompt for column. Calendar year column. Click OK. And the label of the prompt. Select year. Operator is equals to or is in, or is ranked first. Is greater than. By default is equals to or is in. User input choice list. See here choice list how it looks like. So this is the preview of the prompt display. So this is how it will display. Select year, drop down. This is the choice list. And we have text field as well. Click OK. Text field. You can enter the values. And slider as well. It will give the slider option. See, this is the slider option. You can move the slider here. 2000, 2001, 2000. Otherwise, it will give the check boxes only check boxes, or only radio buttons, or only list boxes. So these are the different types of user input options you can able to create the prompt depending on the requirement. Mostly it will be a choice list. So for this choice list prompt, we have choice list values as well. So what are the values to be passed as choice list values? So choice list values are nothing but what are the values to be displayed in this drop down. That is what you are selecting here. All column values, all the values of the column, calendar year column. So calendar year, what we have the values 1998 to 2002. So all the values can be displayed by selecting this option, or specific column values. Among the 100 values, if you want to select only some set of values, use this option, 2000 and 2002. Click OK. Only these values can be displayed in the drop down. Or SQL results. SQL results can be populated. So depending on the SQL statement, logical SQL statement you write here, the result set of the logical SQL statement can be displayed under the drop down values. By default it is all column values. So include all column values option. Yes. So it will include the all column values here. Apply. And limit values by option. So limit values by option is very important as part of cascading the prompts. So for example, you have calendar year prompt here. So when you select the calendar year prompt, let me add another prompt. Let me add another prompt. Here, what will happen is when you select the calendar year as 1999, then the requirement is of the customer is looks like this quarter description has to display only the quarters of the 1999 year. So in this case, what you can do is go to the quarter description prompt and go to the options area and limit values by option. Select the limit values by year prompt. So depending on the year prompt selection, the values of this quarter description prompt will be limited. Click OK. Okay, now when I select the values, okay, let us preview this prompt. Preview here. How this dashboard prompt looks like on the dashboard, you can see the preview here. The preview can be select here, preview. So when I select the value 1999, you can see the value quarter description can display only the quarters of the 1999 year. That is limit values by option. Enable user to select multiple values. So this checkbox is checked here. So that the user can able to select the multiple values by selecting these checkboxes. But whereas in the calendar year prompt, we do not have the enable user to select multiple values selected, so that the user can able to select only one value at a time. We do not have any checkboxes. If you want to get the checkboxes, go to the calendar year prompt, select the multiple values. You can select the multiple values. And enable user to type values. Select this checkbox, click OK, and user can able to type the values as well. And require user input. Require user input is, the user input is mandatory. The user has to select any value to in this prompt. Then only this prompt will be, apply button will be enabled. And you can see the star mark. That means the prompt selection is mandatory. 1998. Apply. Then only apply button will be enabled. You can see this required checkbox is selected. That means the prompt values to be selected must be selected. And the default selection is what? Default. By default, when you place this prompt on the dashboard or report, what is the value to be displayed by default? That is the default selection. Without selecting anything, so if you want to display any particular value, you can able to use this default selection. All column values are default, or no value as default, or specific values as default, or variable expression you can able to pass. Case statements or switch statements you can able to use here. Server variables, if you can able to pass any server variable. For example, if you're working with the time specific prompts like calendar year, current date, or current month type of prompts, by default when you landing to the dashboard page, these prompts has to display the default value as the current month. Then what you can do, you can create a current month repository, dynamic repository variable, and you can able to pass it to the, you can able to call it in this area. Server variable are nothing but repository variables, and the SQL results you can able to populate using this default selection. And choice list is dynamic. The width of the choice list is dynamic. Otherwise, you can able to define it as some particular pixels. And set a variable. The variable can be defined to these prompts. That is, the variable can be called as a presentation variable. You can able to define the presentation variables to the prompt. The presentation variable can be, what will happen when you define the presentation variable is, whatever the values you selected in the prompt, those values will be initialized to this presentation variables. For example, in the calendar prompt, if you select the value as 1999, that value can be initialized to the presentation variable. So the presentation variable can be pv underscore year. Click OK and save this analysis. Analysis 1 and save this. And now you can able to open this prompts under this catalog menu. So every object you created can be saved to the catalog. So here you can see that. So this is the one which we created right now. Every object you created can be saved to the catalog object, catalog menu, and you can see open it. So it is displaying first. So in the analysis or answers, we have four different types. One is criteria, results, prompts, and advanced. So but first, in the analysis, when you create analysis and save it, when you open it, first it will go to the prompts tab. If any prompts are there, display it. If no prompts are there, go to the results tab. That is the execution hierarchy. So now I'm selecting year as 1999 and then click on OK. Now it will display the results for the year 1999 only. See? For the 1999 These are the sales we have. So that is about the prompts tab, and here we have created the presentation variable, right? And you can able to make use of the presentation variable as well. How it will useful for us is, you can simply edit this analysis and in the criteria tab, okay, results tab, we can able to add another view. Let us set a static text view or a narrative view. In this you can able to type selected yes colon, and you can able to call the presentation variable at open brace and close brace pv underscore year. Number of rows to be displayed is 1, and it can put it in the bold. Select this contains HTML markup language. Now you can see the data to be displayed in bold format. Done. Add narrative view. Selected years as presentation variable I passed. So now I am just putting it on the top of this area. Click save, and let us open this analysis again. Now I select some set of years. 2001. Click OK. Now you can see the selected years 1998, 1999, 2001. That means in the what is happening in the prompt, you selected the 3 years and you just pass these 3 years values to the presentation variable. Automatically in the prompt, whatever the values you selected, those will be initialized to the presentation variable. So in the narrative, what we did is selected years as presentation variable. So in the calling place, presentation variable is displayed. That is how we can work on the dashboard prompts, and the prompts can be created within the analysis. So now we have created the prompt in the analysis. Prompts under the prompts tab. So this prompt is specific to this analysis only. These two prompts are specific to this analysis only. But if you want to create a dashboard prompt separately, and that can be used anywhere in the whole application by using this new menu dashboard prompt. So the dashboard prompt can be created as a separate object as well, and you can able to save it as a individual component or individual catalog object that is specific to whole application. The previous one which you created it in the analysis in the prompts tab, that is specific to this particular analysis only. That is about creating the prompts tab, and we have the other options called advanced tab. The advanced tab usage is the advanced tab. What is the usage of advanced tab is it can able to give you the SQL and the whole analysis, the whole analysis in the XML code. The whole analysis can be given in the XML code and the advanced tab. In the advanced tab, you can see the whole analysis XML code, as well as you can see the logical SQL statement executing. The logical SQL statement executing or sending to the BA server. And the other things we have is creating the agents. How to create the, okay, other one is dashboards. The dashboards to be how to create the dashboards. So click on the new menu, click on the create dashboard, remove the dashboard, WS dashboard. And where you want to create this dashboard, under the shared folders, under the yearly sales folder, we have dashboards. There you want to create the dashboard. And do you want to add the content right now? Yes, I would like to add the content right now. Select this checkbox and click on OK. Shared folders, yearly sales folder, and dashboards. Here we can see the WS dashboard. Okay. From here, what are the content you want to add to this WS dashboard? What content you want to add? This is edit dashboard area. This area can be called as editing the dashboard. By editing the dashboard, you are able to add the condition. You are able to add the content to the dashboard. Drop the content here. As I told you, dashboard is nothing but a book. A book can have multiple pages. Page 1 can add multiple pages. Page 2. Using this add page option, you are able to add multiple pages, and each page has its own content. And the page 1, I would like to add the content of monthly sales report. Monthly sales report, I'm going to add into the page 1, and I'm going to page 2, and here I'm going to add the our report, WS analysis report. Save it and run it. See here, page 1 is having monthly sales report, whereas page 2 is having WS sales report. This is our report. Selected yes. You can see this WS dashboard in the dashboard menu, and you can able to edit this dashboard. And here you can see some set of properties. Here you can see some set of properties like link or images, text objects. These are all the dashboard objects. You can able to make use of them depending on the requirement. Every object has its own property. Like text object, when you add, it will allow you to put some text about this dashboard. And you can also able to execute the HTML code, JavaScript, CSS. You can able to edit anything and preview it. Click OK. It will display as a note. For example, if you want to put some note to the customer about this dashboard, for example, this dashboard is showing up the sales information for the current quarter. Only the type of notes, if you want to display, you can use the text object. You can write that note and you can able to align it in the dashboard. And embedded content is nothing but we are able to embed other applications into this OBIEE, other websites into this OBIEE. Here you can pass the customer website here, and you can able to define the height and width of the dashboard so that the customer can able to browse his company website within the OBIEE application. For example, this looks like this one. I just embedded the HDFC net banking into this OBIEE application, so you can able to browse this. So you can just pause. You can just use the. You can just browse the net banking application within the OBIEE. This is how you can able to embed. How it is embedded is edit the dashboard. I just passed the application URL, website URL here, and increase the height and width of the width of the dashboard area, and then click on OK. It will just embed the external applications into OBIEE. Link or images. The link or images are useful when you are trying to place some links or images to this within the dashboard. And let's just go to our dashboard, WS dashboard. So in this dashboard, we have our report, and you can able to edit this dashboard. Here we can see the report. When we add a report into the edit dashboard layout, by default it will be reside in the section, and section can be reside in the column. So you can able to add multiple sections in the within the column. Column within the column we cannot add. We can able to add section within the column, and sections within the section we are not able to add. So multiple sections can be added into this single column, and the sections can have the multiple reports or multiple prompts as well, and you can able to align them into the vertical manner or horizontal manner. That is about the edit dashboard layout, and mostly we can just I just cover all the properties in this edit dashboard layout, and we have other properties here too about the dashboard properties. So which pages to be you want. For example, if you want to hide any dashboard page for some particular time, you can just select this checkbox. Page 1 can be hidden. Click OK. Save. Run. See, we do not see the page 1. Only we are seeing the page 2. The same way, we can also able to do the other things like delete the pages. You can, if page 1 right, you can delete it. And dashboard properties. Here you can see the page settings, fit content, fill browser window. The whole content will be filled within the browser window, and apply buttons, prompt apply buttons, and set the page, and you can delete it here, or you can able to set the permissions who can able to access this page, and you can able to rename the page name. And if you have multiple pages, you can able to reorder them using these up and down arrows. That is about dashboard pages and dashboard objects. And now we can move on to the other concept called creating the agents. Creating the agents. Agent is what? Agent is nothing but a deliverable. You can able to deliver a report or a dashboard to the end user email address. How it can be able to deliver? Before delivering that agent, you need to configure the SMTP details within the enterprise manager. OBIEE, Oracle Fusion Middleware Enterprise Manager, you need to define the mail SMTP details, the SMTP host name, the SMTP sender details, the all things we need to define it. So in the enterprise manager, we have an option called repository deployment tab, right? There only you can see the mail tab, and in the mail tab you can able to configure the SMTP details to deliver the to deliver the reports to the end users from the OBIEE application. Okay, this is the agent. Agents in the 10G version can be called as iBots. In the 11G we can call them as agents. So agents are useful to deliver the reports or dashboards to the end user, either email address or pagers or mobile devices or handheld devices. So in this agent creation, you are going to create a new agent. So here we have different properties for this agent. So general tab is going to define the priority of the agent, which priority you are going to define. For example, if you have two agents scheduled at same interval, same time, then which agent to be takes first in the execution process, that is depending on the its priority. So the priority is high, then the agent will be considered for the execution first. Run as option. So how you are going to run this report? Do you want to run this report as a specific user? That means, for example, if you have any data level security defined on the report, which you are delivering to the end user, then what will happen? The user has to see the data of his region only, or the data which he has access only. In that cases, the report has to execute with his credentials. For that, what you can do, you can select the run as recipient option. Recipient is nothing but receiver of this agent, receiver of the email, receiver of the report or dashboard as a into his email. That is, the recipient is end user. When you select this option, the end user details will be end user can able to run this agent. The server can able to determine the report has to execute using the end user credentials, run as end user credentials, recipient credentials, who is receiving the report. Run as specific user is, you can able to select any of the user as run as option. You can able to run this report. If the report is not having any data level security defined, then by default it will be a specified user. That is, who is going to create the agent, that will be specific user by default. Schedule tab. This will show you the frequency of the agent to be scheduled delivered. Frequency never. It means it will not run. It will not run at any time. Once it will run only one time. At what time it is running? It's running starting from this timestamp. It is running only one time. And if you want to rerun it for some other timings, you can able to select the rerun agent for every 1 minute or 10 minutes or 60 minutes or 300 minutes. You can able to select the time interval up to or time up to how long you want to execute. You can able to select this target time and time as well. So one time and daily, every day you want to run it, or every 2 days or every 3 days or every 4 days, you can able to select here. And when it is going to start and rerun for every 1 minute, there is no end date, or if you want to put any select end date, you can able to select the end date here. And weekly, every week, on which day you want to execute, and every 1 week or every 2 weeks you want to execute, you can select this. Or monthly, every month, or first Sunday of month, first weekday, first Monday of every month, or first day of, on which day you want to execute in which month. You can just play around these options until and unless you will not able to understand. Like you can just have the different frequencies here. Very easy to configure the agent. So let us say once. Condition. So if you want to deliver an agent to the end user email address, it has to follow this, it has to satisfy this condition. If you use any condition, it has to satisfy this condition. And delivery content. Subject of the email. Content is what? Analysis, a report. Which report? Browse it. Shared folders. Yearly sales. W analysis. And format of the report is device default format or PDF format, PowerPoint, Excel, CSV, HTML. You can able to select the any of the format. Let us say PDF. And delivery settings. Deliver results directly or deliver as attachment. An attachment note. If condition is false, then deliver this message. What are the condition you passed in the condition tab? If it is false, then deliver this message. Or what are the message you want to have? You can just deliver it. And recipients tab. The recipient stamp can able to allow you to add the recipients of this agent. You can add the email address of the agents, email address of the end users. You can able to add multiple email addresses by separating with commas. Destination, email, specific devices, that is email. And actions, what type of actions to be performed? Agent condition is true. You have condition for the agent, and this is true. And if it is true or no condition exists, after executing this agent, what is the action to be performed? After executing this agent and the condition is false, what is the action to be performed? We can able to define the action links to here. Actions can be defined here. Once the agent is created, you can able to save it, and you can able to select this run agent option. So these agents can able to deliver the emails to the end user, and the delivery content can be added as either analysis or a dashboard page or a briefing book. A analysis or dashboard page can be added. Otherwise, you can able to add the briefing book as well. Briefing book is what you can able to add some set of reports or some set of dashboard pages to the one briefing book, just like briefcase. However you are able to paste, however you are able to insert, or you are able to put some important documents or some important papers into your briefing book, important documents into your briefing book. The same way you can able to add multiple documents, multiple dashboard pages into the briefing book. Once you open the briefing book, you are able to see what are the reports you are required, all in one place. Instead of navigating to the multiple dashboard pages, you can able to have them into one dashboard, one briefing book. That is about briefing book. And the other things we have here is actions. The same thing, action, how it works is navigate to BA content, navigating to your web page, invoking a web service or invoking Java method. Navigating to BA content is nothing but you are able to navigate to one particular report. So here we have an action here. ACT1 created, execute. When you try to execute it, it will go to the corresponding performance style view. And KPIs. What this KPI do is, KPI is nothing but a key performance indicator. Key performance indicator. So why do we KPI? Why do we need this KPIs? Is the KPIs can able to compare two different values: actual value and target value. For example, if you take a business, every business can have some set of goals or targets for every quarter, and for that quarter, depending, actual value is nothing but what the actual transactions happening in the business can be called as actual values, and target values are nothing but they define some goals or targets for this particular business in this particular quarter. So these are the quarterly basis or yearly basis, they will have a revenue targets. That's how we can able to define the these are the two different values. So we can able to create the performance indicator using these two measure columns. How it will work is, let me add the actual value. So the actual value is amount sold, and the target value is what? I am going to add the same amount sold by doing the average, by applying the aggregate function called average. Average of amount sold is the target value, and go to the next option. Now you have selected only the actual value and target value. Actual value is what? Amount sold value. Target value is nothing but average of amount sold value. Dimensionality, in which dimensionality you are going to verify these results. So the dimension column is add on yearly basis. And what are the values you want to select? Hold the control, you can select multiple values and click next. So here you can able to define the thresholds. Here you are able to define the thresholds to display the values. How you want to display, how you want to represent the differences or the percentage differences, percentage changes between these two actuals and targets. This is threshold values can be defined. For example, if the amount sold value of the 2000 year is comparing to the average of amount sold in the 2000 year is greater than 90 percentage, then display it as warning zone or in the OK zone. So you can able to define the status of the label, OK, warning or critical, and you can able to define the colors of the cells, and you can able to pass the icons as well. Right icon, a warning icon, or danger icon. I mean like error icon. Here, if the threshold value is greater than 90 percentage, greater than 100 percentage, display the green color. OK zone. If the threshold value is between 90 to 100 percentage, display the yellow color. Warning zone. The threshold value is critical. This is less than 90 percentage. If you want to change it, you can able to change the threshold values. Depending on your requirement, those can be changed. And related documents, you can able to upload the documents related to this KPI. And next, you can able to add the custom attributes. Custom attributes are nothing but, attribute is nothing but what you can able to add custom formula or custom expressions using this custom attribute section. So we do not have any custom attributes, no need to add this, and finish it. Save this KPI. They say it as KPI 2. KPI gets saved, and you can see the results of the KPI here. Go to the catalog. Here we can see the KPI 2. Open it. See here the actual value of the amount sold in the different years, and the target value is average of amount sold. This is common for all the years. And 1998 it is below, it is between 90 to 100 percentage. 1999 90 to 100 percentage. 2000 90 to 100 percentage. And the variance difference between these values and the variance percentage. So this is how we are able to define the KPIs. And now I'm moving on to the next concept called KPI watch list. So in this KPI watch list, you are able to add the multiple KPIs into this watch list. Here you can see add the KP1 as well. So multiple KPIs can be added into this watch list, and you are able to watch the performance of this indicator. And now the next thing is the administration part of the OBIEE. And other things we have, what we have left here is the conditions. What are the conditions is you can able to create the saved conditions. You can able to create a condition based on the two objects. One is analysis and other one is KPI. The analysis what? Report. Browse the analysis, shared folders, yearly sales, monthly sales. Okay, the monthly sales report row count, return row count, the report row count is greater than 0, then the condition will be true. The row count is less than greater than 0 is not greater than 0, the condition will be false. And where we can use these conditions is we can use it for the sections, and we can able to use it for the agents. Just now we discussed about the agents, right? So there also we can able to use this saved conditions. And filters, we can able to add multiple filters to the one filter set. Okay, here I can able to add the multiple filter sets, like calendar year ID is equals to or is in the value. Click OK. And the same way I can able to add other filter set. Product category is equals to or is in the value. And I can able to add other filter. And so this way we can able to add multiple filter conditions to the filter set. And you can able to use this filter set to the reports the time of building the reports on the same conditions. For example, if you have 100 reports in your analysis in your project, among the 100 reports 50 reports are having the same filter set, you can able to add them into the one of the saved filter, and you can able to make use of this saved filter. That is about the filter set. And okay, other options what we have here is the administration part of the OBIEE. So in this administration part, you can able to create the security part. We have you can create the catalog groups here. You can able to define the permissions on the catalog groups. Create the catalog group here and define the permissions on the catalog groups. And privileges. This is one of the important area where the administrator can able to put some more effort here, like defining the privileges to the tool options, dashboards, access to dashboards, which users or which roles can able to access to answers, which roles can able to access. The same way we can have different types of features here. You just go through the amount. And home and header page. This is the home and header page. Here you can see home and header page. Which options to be enabled to the which users? Access to catalog UI. This catalog link can be visible to which users or which roles. Help menu, new menu, open menu. All these are the home and header menu. Which one can able who can able to access these links? The same way, subject area, the sales history subject area. Who can able to access it? Views, different views. Which view can able to enable for the which user? Which role can able to define it here. And manage device types, manage sessions. Here you can able to see the session information. Logged in user ID, host name, session ID, browser information, logged on at what time, and last access time. Everything you can see under the session information. How many sessions are running here is total session. One is BA system user, other one is WebLogic user. Manage agent sessions. How many agents are currently running? So there are currently no active agent sessions. These are not required actually. And BA publisher management, and that is about the administration. So here is issue SQL. Whatever the SQL statement you write here, the logical SQL statement which you write here can be executed directly against the Oracle BA server here. If you want to execute any logical SQL statement against the BA server, you can able to write the logical SQL statement here. And the other things what we are to discussing here is I would like to open a this is the different areas we are having covering in the analytics application. Most of all the required areas I just covered, and now I'm going to open up one of the real-time repository which I have worked in my previous projects, and I will show you how the development of the repository is there. File menu, close it, and here I'm going to open it in the offline mode. So this is one of the repository which I have developed in my first project, where here I'm just we have some this is TPCDB, that is Takeda Pharmaceutical Company, Japan customer, and we have worked in from I'm from the Hyderabad offshore. Here you can see here TPCDB which we have developed, Takeda Pharmaceutical Company dashboards, and here we have some set of dimension tables and one fact table. This is very small project, but the reports are very huge amount of reports we have created. So the data model is designed like this. This data model is designed on top of the PL SQL procedures. Usually they do not have any ETL tool here. They have some source system like file system. File system is a source system. Excel files they are storing the data, and from the Excels using the PL SQL procedures, they have extracted the Excel data into the Oracle database, and using the same PL SQL procedures they have extracted the whole data from the Oracle database to data warehouse. In the data warehouse we have the tables like this, and the tables are having some set of columns, and we have imported the tables, and we have designed the data model as per the design document specifications. Right click, this is the physical diagram we have created, and this is into the star schema data model. This is very rare. You can see in the real time the star schema data model. You are not able to see. You don't see the star schema model in the real time. This is very rare. Depending on the data modeler, there is a data modeling team. Depending on their uh, expertise, we can see the star schemas. Mostly we can able to get the snowflake schemas only. So the single fact sales table is connected to the dim company, dim time, dim country, dim account, dim product, dim version, dim scenario, and dim type. These are different types of dimension tables connected to the single fact table. And then we just move it to the logical layer. See here, we do not create any alias tables. Alias tables only required only to why do we require the alias tables is to use the single object for multiple purposes. So we do not using any single object for multiple purposes, so that we did not created any alias tables. So you can expand this TPCDB. Here you can see the dimension hierarchy is created for every table. Time dimension, country total and region total, subgroups too. There are different types of hierarchies created here. And you can see the expand the you can see the logical join diagram. It looks like the same as physical, and you can see the whole diagram here. These are the logical relationships. All the types of all the joins are type of inner join only. We need to one cardinality only. And let me explain this fact sales table. Here these are the different columns created and applied to different formulas. And here they are using the different currencies. OKY and EU are Europeans, US dollars, and Japan yens. And one of the amount formula here is this is direct column. OKY amount is called amount. Okay, net revenue. Net revenue has one formula. Let us expand this. See, filtering the amount sold, amount of OKY, that is currency of type yens, Japanese yens, using account level is equals to revenue. See, he's filtering the records in this column only by passing this filter expression. Filter of amount using the condition is what? Account level 2 is equals to revenue. This way we can see the different currencies, different formulas. And they are using the time series function ego of amount OKY year level, 1 year level, that is 1 year previous year, one previous year, ego of amount sold or amount 1 year go back, that is ego function, 1 year ago's amount OKY. Prior year, that is also called as prior year. So these are the different measure columns we have created here, and then we can see the development in the presentation layer. Just added the table columns into different tables and see the variables as well. See, we have different variables created for the repository variables. Static type, we do not have any static variables. In the dynamic repository we have different variables. TPCDB previous year. What is the previous year for the current year? That is TPCDB period initialization block. You can see in the TPCDB period initialization block. So in this initialization block you can see the SQL statement. Select took care of active period from sys parameter. There is a table called sys underscore parameter tables. So using the sys parameter table, we are just pulling the active period column to fetch the year and after that what we are doing is we are doing it as -1, current year, current month. So whenever the side is equals to 1, that is current year. Whenever the side is equals to 1, this year month, y month, and this side is equals to 2, it is a previous year. So in the sys parameter table, the data is defined like that. Same way we can see the other condition codes. Current period, edit data source. Select current year, current month, current quarter from current period table. And it is refreshing for every 3 minutes. And here you can see it is refreshing for every 6 hours. The same way we can see the dynamic response to variables like GMA current month, GMA current month, GMA current period initialization block. So you can see this initialization block is disabled. So the variables or initialization block sequence cannot be executed. By the BSRM will not consider this initialization block for execution because it is disabled mode. But I would like to show you the SQL statement here. Select parameter value from WC Web Center system parameter. They have some predefined variables. They're just make using of them. And non-system session variables. Session variables. Session variables are again system. How many system variables are using? They are not using any system variable. Non-system variable. Preferred currency. IB currency. IB currency is the initialization block. IP currency. You can see the SQL statement. Select value of reference currency from GUL. That is GPU YKU. See here, select 07, 2011 from GL. So this is static. It returns only the same values. And let us see any data level securities or object level securities defined. Identity. We are not able to get the users. In the offline mode, we are not able to get the application users. And only thing we can see is the permissions if we have any. Okay. That is about this repository which is we developed in the real time, and we have different modules as well. This is only developed by our two members of two team members, and the rest of the things are developed by different teams. See, these are different types of measures. So in the real time, this whatever we discussed in the repository, it is not much easy. We can need to explore the different measure columns depending on the requirement. For example, you can see this measure column formula filtering total sales using the city group code is equals to TC. Same expression. Evaluation index by product category. Let us see this. See, this is having some additional formulas like plus 100 divided by this column plus 100 into 100. They are just adding 200s to the two columns in the numerator and denominator and calculating the percentage value. Same thing. So if you build one measure formula Using the same formula can be useful for other columns. There is a slight change in the column names or condition names. The same formula can be used populated for other measures as well, but the condition will be changed, condition value will be changing, or uh, the formula, the operators will be changing, like numerators or denominators will be changing, the column names will be changing, or the conditions will be changing. So it is having some aggregation rules defined. So this is how it looks like in the real time, the repository development. Very simple. First, import the metadata, design the data model as per the design document, which tables to be joined, which table you need to identify, and then once the data model is designed, we will move it to the logical layer. In the logical layer, you can able to create the new hierarchies, and defining the aggregation rules from the measure columns, and creating new logical columns, using the existing logical columns option, and there we can able to build from different types of columns depending on your requirements. In the requirements document, they will specify it to create this column. This is the formula. Yes, depending on the logic, you can able to apply the same formula in the repository, and you can able to populate the new logical columns as well, and you can pull it to the presentation layer. And if required, depending on requirement, you can create the different variables like current time, current month, sum of sales, average of sales. Different types of variables you can able to populate using this static, dynamic, and non-system and system variables. And the repository development will be closed, and then we can move on to the presentation. There you can able to see in the requirement document, they will give you what are the columns to be placed in the report, how the report has to be formatted, what is the conditions to be used, is there any conditional formatting, as there is any master detail events, is there any formatting techniques to be applied, is there any additional views to be created, uh, any notes to be placed using the narrative text view, or any presentation variables are required. So these type of things you can able to analyze at the time of building the reports in the presentation services. So mostly it's very easy to use in the analytics application. The thing is, developing the repository is very main thing, because the logics to be applied in the repository area mostly. That is for as part of this training. This ends my training. Any questions to you? You can just sure ask Mira. I'm pausing the recording.
Yeah, the training was good.
Here.
Yeah, the training was good. Thank you.
Yeah.